Let's create the down text animation. So for that, we will need our text. So I'm going to click on the text tool here, and I'm going to left click on my canvas area, and let's type the word down. It's only appropriate based on what we are trying to create. So I'm going to click on OK. And I'm going to select my transform tool here and click on the origin point, and I'm just going to move this to the center. Actually, a quick and easy way to move this to the center is with the origin point selected. In the properties, just change the X and the Y values to 0, and it will go to the center. Also, I'm just going to take the time here to change the font to something a bit lighter. So I'm going to, in my font family here, I am going to select maybe Lado or Lato. No, I want to scale this down uniformly, but here we have the scale point. But if we should scale this, it won't scale it uniformly. So one way to scale it uniformly is to go down to where we have the size property here, and then we'd have to change the X and the Y values to the same thing to scale the text down. But I think that's, I don't want to do that. That's too much steps, right? So what we can do is we can right click size, click on convert, then select scale, and with this scale, we can export it to the library, and then we'll have a tool to scale the text. So I'm going to right click scale and click on export value to library, and we can call this whatever we want. I'm just going to call it scale. By the way, you could have it lower or uppercase, it doesn't really matter. And click on export. Now with that exported, I'm going to come here into my library and we see the scale. Now the cool thing about this is if I select it, we'll see we have this tool here to scale it up or down. Okay, so now you won't have to worry about having to go here to scale it uniformly. All right, so I'm just going to scale this down here, and let's go ahead and create our animation. So the first thing we need is a duplicate layer. So I'm going to right click the text, new layer, other, and click on duplicate. But now we need something to move the duplicates when they are created. So for that, I'm going to click on the down text here, right click, new layer, and I'm going to go to transform and select translate. So with the translate selected, I'm going to come over here to the origin. In the properties, right click on the origin, and I'm going to convert this to a scale. Now the reason why I'm converting it to a scale is because we want something with the same property to connect it to the index here. Now this index was created when we created the duplicate, so it's a part of the duplicate. So I'm going to come here into the origin here, select scale, make sure that I have index selected, and I'm going to right click and click on connect. And now the translate tool or the translate layer is now connected to the duplicate. So if I should move down by selecting the origin point here and move, we should see the duplicated text. However, we won't see that, and I'll tell you why. So let me move this first and show you. So we aren't seeing the text. Now that is because we did not isolate the duplicate to tell it what exactly we want to create a duplicate of. So to solve that, we need to select all of these layers, these 3 layers except for the background, and we need to place them in a group. So I'm going to click the group icon here, and as soon as I click on the group icon, we see the duplicated text. So we need to isolate those in order to see it. So I'm going to click on the translate here, and if we hold on shift while selecting it, it will move it down in a straight line. So I'm just going to come here to my duplicate, and I'm going to change the amount to maybe, let's say maybe 15, so that we have a lot of duplicates. And I'm going to select the group here, and let me zoom out. Now I don't want to see this tool that we created from the scale or from the duplicate, so I'm going to just select value base here to hide that, and then let's hold on shift, let's move this up so that we can keep it in line here like so. Let me just move this down a bit. So now that we have that, let's go ahead and create our animation. Now first I'm going to select the keyframe properties here. I'm going to remove this initial keyframe, go back to my properties here, select my timeline, turn on animate, and I'm going to select my translate icon here, or my translate layer, and let me zoom out here because it's all the way down here. Now I want this to begin at the top here, so I'm going to select this, hold on shift, move this up. I'm going to move it up, and then we can use our arrow keys on our keyboard as well, up down up down. So I'm going to have it start from there. Then I'm going to move down my timeline here, and I'm going to just move this down like so. I'm going to move it down until we can see the text clearly with some spaces in between each text. So something like that would work. Okay, and we have our initial animation. So all we need to do is preview this. Let me select this button right here, then press spacebar, and we have that down animation. And of course we could alter it in different ways, right? What I'm going to do next is I'm going to create two more, one on each side. So for that, let me just rename this so we know which one is which. I'm going to call this center, and I'm just going to press Control C, Control V to create a new group or a duplicated group. And I'm going to move this over. Let me turn off animate, by the way, because we don't want to animate what we're doing. And I'm going to just move this text over to the left here. And notice what is going on. We're only seeing one of the text here. And that is because we just duplicated this folder, and it also has its own duplicate because we duplicated the duplicate, if that makes sense. So what we need to do is we need to go to the library here, and we can see that we have another index, index 2. So we need to connect this new translate onto this duplicate. So with this translate selected, I'm just going to open up the origin here, select the scale, make sure that we have index 2 selected. And I'm going to right click this and click on connect. And it's now connected to this new duplicate. So it will work independently of the original one here. Okay. And let's go ahead and create another one. Oh, let me rename this one to left. So we know that this is the left one. Control C, Control V. And we need to do the same thing with this. Select translate, go to our library, select index 3. And let me click on the scale, right click, click on connect. So we have that connected, and I'm going to click, select the folder, select the origin point, hold on shift, and just move this over in a straight line like so. Then we can use the arrow keys to line it up. And I'm going to call this right. And now if we should play, we see the animation going on. Okay, but now we can, I don't like everything looking uniformed. So what we can do, or what I'm going to do, is for the one here on the left, I'm going to have this be offset somewhat. So I'm going to just move this down a bit so that it starts later than the others. And the center one, I'm going to have it start after it. So let me move this down. Actually, let me go back to this, move this over a bit. Then center will move after. Well, now I want the center one to move before, so I'm going to move it. I'm going to allow it to start before the left one by moving the keyframes back. And the right one, I want it to start before all the others, like that. So we have something going on like a step. This, like it's going down. So the right one here, actually, let me come here to the center and let's move this back a bit here. All right, so this just takes a few adjustments here. Move that up, center here. Let me see, move this up a bit, and that is looking okay to me. So if we play, we have that going on. And now if we wanted this to fill the entire screen, of course we could just put all of these in a group, select the group, and we can just scale this up and we can run it back to see what that looks like. Now the challenge here is if we wanted to change the text, we would have to change the text in each of these folders. Well, one way to fix that is by linking the text. So I'm going to open up each of these folders here, and I'm going to select one of these texts, hold down the control key and click on the other text. And then over here in the text properties, I'm going to right click and I'm going to click on link. So now that they are linked, if I change one, it will change all of them. So I'm going to just come here to the text to show you how that is done. And I'm going to change this to, let's say, Kemardi. Click on OK. Now you can see the challenge here, and that's if the text is longer than the word down, they will be interlocked like this or overlapped. So then when that happens, just make sure that your animate is turned off, and then you can just select each group and just move them over like so. So it will take just a bit of your time to adjust. And then once you're done, you could just select the overall group and scale it down so that you can see everything in the frame. Then you could move it up if you want to, and then play it back. Let me actually pre-render this, then play it back. And that's how you create the down text animation effect.